All right, guys, hola, bienvenidos, welcome and welcome back. I'm gonna do a quick video just in case this helps anybody out, because I still to this day get comments and messages on those heatcraft videos that I've done where we had issues, and other people, they're kind of issues that are hard to know what is exactly wrong with the unit, like the boards giving out, relays. There was also that the wires are not strapped to or mounted, so they hang, and they unplug the fan motors. The what was the other thing? Some of the settings, and the brackets breaking. So I've done videos on those. I still get messages and comments like, dude, I've been trying to change out, which is the same thing that Heatcraft told me to do, is change out the EEV, and it's hardly ever the TXV or the EEV. So, like I said, still get messages about that, and it's been helpful for other people. Now, today, I'm going to show you, I'll get into it real quick so I can just show you what it was and kind of explain it. We had a Russell branded walk-in box, right? So it's a evaporator and condenser that we did a swap from an older system. This is a single phase, low profile unit. There is a board in there, and it was already pre-programmed. I just had to change the refrigerant and all that. So everything went super smooth, too smooth to where we, when we did the startup, I took a break and our guy was starting it up. So in my head, once this thing didn't work, I know we had a hiccup with the vacuum setup, and then he also added the charge through the evaporator, because like everybody was, pretty spent, and it was over 110. I was like, yeah, I mean, it's going to take longer, but you can do that, right? So with that being said, I thought it was an error on our part, but initially when we did start it up, it would not stay on. We had a high discharge line, and the safeties, which are located on the discharge line itself, is a temperature sensor and a pressure control. We were instantly tripping those out. So I had to bump the contactor, and then we bypassed it to see if it, I was like, maybe we're not getting, because it does take longer to charge it through the evaporator port, but it can be done. I thought we were not, I knew from the get-go that there was not enough refrigerant. So I was like, okay, try to, fill it up, flood it a little bit, get that line sweating, coming back, and maybe we'll cool it down. Still instantly going out. Now, keep in mind, I also didn't, like, there was a ton of things that just added up to causing this issue. So it shouldn't have been as big of an issue as it was, but I'm going to help point you in the right direction. So like, I didn't have my full probe and clamp set with me. So everything that I had on me was hooked up on the rooftop. Up there, I knew I was getting a high superheat, a super high discharge line, and the pressures weren't too far off. Now downstairs, I tried everybody else that was with me only had analogs and no clamps. I should have looked for, and I know it's somewhere in my van, a dedicated thermometer with what do you call it, K-type inputs. So I should have done it the old school way, but I didn't. I initially just trusted what the board was telling me. I am a human. This is a computer. I thought we had a human error. I trusted the computer. I even told some of the guys I trusted the computer so much that I thought I messed up. So what I was trying to do was check at the evaporator, my pressure and superheat and all that. So I actually had, the JB, which I'll do a review on soon. But had this thing worked, because it didn't, I was trying to check it with that. Had that worked, I would have found this issue a lot sooner. I had to come back with extra clamps and all that, and I needed a break at that point. So let me go show you real quick what the board was telling me and what I had to do manually to check it, and then you know, obviously compare it, and then I'll explain like the fix that we'll do for now, because I still got to talk to tech support. Of course it's working now, but you can see the ice pattern. Huh? Yeah, you can see in the summer the hats do not last me. You can already see the sweat stain and battle, I don't know what you call it. Anyway, battle worn already. It's 110 averaging 108, you know, something like that. High humidity, 70, 80% and up. That's what I came back to do, because when I looked up the manual, now my guy, one of the guys took the manuals because he was trying to read up on it. I think I found the same manual online anyway from their website, and it doesn't tell me anything. I'm going to try and call customer support to ask them about any calibrations or offsets that I can do in the meantime. But if not, like if there's not that, because I did get into advanced mode one time, I need to figure out how I got there. But if not, if there's no way to do it without, you know, getting a new part, which we're going to do regardless, but the customer bought this equipment, so they need to, honestly, I don't know how that works. They need to figure that out. They need to get a pressure, what is that called? Like a transducer, pressure sensor sent out, and it looks like it just unscrews. I need to go and look at it again. I think you can just unscrew it. So I'm still going to pump it down. It's an easy repair. When it's in the evaporator, it's an easy repair regardless, but I'm still going to pump it down. I don't know if there's a stem in there, like a Schrader. I don't think it was labeled. So just in case, we'll pump it down. We'll remove the old one. Once we get a new one, we'll put it in, wire it back in, and hopefully that one works, because this one had to have been faulty just out the box. We protected everything. I didn't feel like using putty on this one when we brazed everything in. I used actual like damp rags, you know, just getting them wet and wrapping all the valves or anything I was brazing by, and I used the smallest tip when I brazed, so it didn't get too hot around it. What I've noticed, I'm new to these Russell brands. This is probably the second one we've installed, and I've maybe worked on a handful, because at their newer locations, they are putting these brands in. Like we don't do new construction, so it's like another company will install it, and then we'll go and service it, because we try to do more service and repairs. So I've already worked on a few, and not to crap on Russell. I mean, everybody has their quirks. I've mentioned the ones that Heatcraft had. I don't mean to talk bad about Russell, just in case, because I think I'm assuming Heatcraft got wind of that because they ghosted me. They ghosted Curtis. I feel bad. I'm sorry, dude. After I had those videos out. So I don't know if they got upset. I don't know if it was just coincidence, but I haven't talked to them. I was talking to them, then didn't get to talk to them anymore after those videos came out. Anyway, on the Russell brands, I've noticed a lot of the sensors fail over time. This one happened to be brand new, but there are temperature sensors that are mounted to the side where the U-bends are. Those are the EVAP coil sensors, right? Those have given out a couple times, and now this pressure sensor essentially has given out. So on most of these, or on the Russell brand, I'm going to say Russell brand, you can disconnect them, and it defaults, or it goes into like a backup. And if it's a sensor, if it's a coil sensor, and you're having issues with your fans coming on, which I do have videos on that, you can just disconnect it, and it'll ramp up the fans and make it work like a backup way. I don't know how to explain it. So if you ever have issues with sensors, now I know you can do it also with the pressure one. Just disconnect them. It'll fall back, and it'll revert to a different way. I don't know the science behind it, but it'll revert to a different way to run. So the reason I disconnected it and figured I could do that, I didn't know this yesterday. I looked up the manual last night. I read in there that it said if the pressure sensor fails, it will use the temperature sensor, because it does have one mounted to the suction line. It will revert to superheat by that temperature sensor. I don't know how, but it does, and it did. It fluctuated all the way. It flooded all the way, and then it slowly went back up to around 12. And I'm gonna keep an eye on it. I don't know if I'm gonna have to manually change anything on the EEV, but if we can get 8 to 12, I'll be happy, or anywhere near that, I'll be happy, because I was getting like 20, 25 degree superheat before. So now that that's working, I'm gonna go back up to the roof, because like I said, I did bypass it. So I removed the temperature sensor, and I removed the pressure control out of the wiring, and I bypassed it so I could see what was going on. Our discharge line was over 200 degrees and getting into that danger zone where it's going to break up the oil and mess up, you know, the basically mess up your compressor, screws with the oil. So when I called tech support, because I needed to know, like, am I missing something? Did I screw something up? Is there something you can point me in the right direction to? You know, things like that. I told them it was 110 out here, right? And I'm like, I'm trying to do this. It's a warm box. It was like 75 degrees in the box. We're trying to pull it down, you know, blah, blah, blah. Give them the, like, my amperage was fine. Pressures were okay. Like I said, I just had a higher than normal superheat. And I knew that was causing my discharge line to go, you know, through the roof. And at one point it went down, but it's because, like, when it got in the morning or early in the day, it's not going to be as hot, and it looked fine. But as the day got hotter, it got really bad. So I was trying to tell him all this, and he's like, man, that is hot. 110, wow. Put a sprinkler on it and try to get your charge in, and we verified the charge, and go about it that way. You know, once it cools down, it should be able to keep up, and this and that. Now, at that point, I thought I'd screwed up, so I actually pulled the charge again, weighed it back in. He verified with me the proper charge, which is what I'm used to. 6 pounds minimum, 8 pounds with winter charge, which we always do the winter charge. That's what I'm used to. I'm always putting in about 8 pounds for these systems. The line set is like less than 20 feet. So all that was good. Did it again just in case. Vacuumed. Like I said, we had a hiccup with the vacuum in the beginning because we didn't have all the valves open. Did all that again just in case, because I thought, again, I trusted the computer. It was telling me there was about a 10-degree superheat. I was like, I should be in this. I should be fine. You know, and I went about it that way. So now I'm going to go up on the roof and see if that, I'm going to double check the superheat, but see if that mitigated, if we got the EEV open, if that mitigated our discharge line temp, our superheat at the compressor. You know, I'm going to check all that again. And if everything's good, I'll hook it back up, leave the suction transducer, sensor, whatever you call it, disconnected for now. And if it works, it works. Like I said, she said it maintained 35 overnight. I had the sprinkler on it yesterday to get it by during the day. I had to come back at night to work on the freezer. The freezer went down last night, and I removed the water because I was like, overnight, just to give you an idea, overnight here is about 80 degrees. It never cools down in the summer, so we're about to get rain in a few weeks, so maybe that'll help cool it down. But 80 degrees overnight, and then early in the morning, like I came around 8, 9, it is already 90 degrees, and then we're gonna hit at least 105 on a daily basis, if not 110. So just to give you guys a backstory on that. So it still ran, I'm sure it still ran a little bit hot overnight, but at least it cooled down. So let's go check all that, and if everything's good, I'll put everything back together. And then when we get the pressure sensor in, pump it down, replace it, start it back up, and then double check our, like, what do we get on our superheat versus what the board is reading. I don't know if you can tell where I had the sprinkler, but yeah. And then this is the dumb one that has a cable line going through. All right, so I'm putting everything back. We're getting a little bit of flashing, and we are getting close. So that thing is, man, I forgot. It's rated for 215 or 225. I'll double check. I don't think I can see it from here, but we're running about 200. It's warming up outside, so I'm hoping it doesn't go any higher than that. But I don't know. 205 is what I saw, and I'm trying to check it as close as I can. I don't want to put it too close because we will trip it at that point, more than likely on a really warm day. But everything else checks out okay. Our pressure is way under. I think it trips at 400. I have my pressure probe right there. There's another port there, but basically we have like 300, 310, 315 at the most. So I can hook everything back up. I think it's satisfied right now. I'll double check, and if everything is okay in range, then I'm just going to wait on that pressure sensor and then get that installed or changed out. Still the morning, but I am sweating buckets already. So yeah, I did satisfy. I set it to 37 just to be safe, kind of take the load off that compressor, not let it run so much until we get, like I said, everything everything replaced that we need to, like the sensor, the transducer. Then I'll put everything back to where it should be on the controller. I left it at 6 degrees superheat. That's the way it was programmed. It came pre-programmed for what we needed. I only had to change the refrigerant because we weren't going to use anything else. It's originally 404. And yeah, I'm going to close up here, get all my stuff off, get off the roof, let it run a few times. So I'm just gonna stay here, kind of hang out a little bit. I don't want to get a call back. It's Friday. We installed this at the end of the week, so to avoid coming in on the weekend, I'm just gonna make sure it cycles a few times, and then I'll see when they get the when they get the part in. So yeah, it runs at, or it trips at 221. I'm gonna put everything back, just make sure it doesn't trip. But look at that, even the factory burns up the filter dryer. So, like I said, it's getting warm out. Let me just make sure it's not gonna overheat. So I don't know if you can tell, but it got hot, it's sunny, and it is 106 outside. It's running fine. It's maintaining 37, 38. I told him I would raise it just a little bit. I think I already said that. So it wouldn't run as much, not much of a, or as much of a load. And until we get the part in, which they're gonna, I believe they have to order it, and then we come and put it in. I'm also trying to see if anybody has it locally in case we can just swap it out later or soon instead of waiting a week or whatever it is. So yeah, if you guys have any issues with the Russell walk-in boxes, I believe this is called like an Econet board. The sensors, as long as if they all fail or more than one fails, you're screwed at that point. But if one fails, you just disconnect it, and it has this like backup, thing that it goes into, at least for like the superheat, because it needs a suction pressure for superheat, but it also has a line temperature sensor, which that's what it falls back on, and a evap coil sensor, which I'm assuming is taking the place to kind of help it calculate. It was maintaining between 6 and I think the highest I saw was 12. I'm okay with that. If it's opening and closing in that range, we're good. As long as it's not flooding and it's not what it was before, which was 25-degree superheat. So everything's fine. The top, I feel like, is running borderline hot, but I have all the safeties back on, so we're not going to burn up that compressor. We shouldn't, as long as I can keep it running a little bit less. Right now it went into defrost, so like it's going to cycle off a lot, and the safeties are there in case it goes over 220 temperature on the discharge, or I believe the PSI rating on that is 400, which right now, after it's actually cooled down, it's maintaining like 315 discharge pressure. So everything's fine. We're fully charged as far as like 8 pounds, which is what they verified with me for winter charge. And yeah, so if we get that, I'll come back. This is just to help you guys if you're having an issue. Like I said, Heatcraft. People are still messaging me about that. And again, not to crap on Russell or any of these brands. I don't know if Heatcraft got upset about the last one. On those, there's quirks. Go check out those videos. On the Russell brand, I do have a few videos, and it's usually the sensors. So always double check, triple check. I trusted the computer. I trusted the board that it was giving me the superheat I needed until I actually hooked up to it and did my own superheat calculation, and come to find out we're way too high. So I trusted it too much. Always go back to the basics. It's always airflow and refrigerant flow, right? So is it condensing? Is it evaporating where it's supposed to? Are you having a superheat subcoil that you need? And if anything, don't trust what the board tells you. I do that a lot. I check it at the board, because usually my stuff is hooked up outside, and I need to buy another set of probes to have inside and outside. I do need that. And just make sure that you compare your notes to what the board is saying, and that way if it's giving you the right readings. Because the only issue with electronic is, they can fail, but are the readings correct? Because with the IntelliGen on the Heatcraft side, the issue I had was that it wasn't sending the right signal to those EEVs, and then it was shutting or wide open. So always double check. There's different ways to go about it. This one really screwed me over. I know next time to make sure like I said, compare what I get to what the board is reading, and then make sure we're all good there, because everything else went a little too perfect, and I got bit in the ass by a faulty sensor. It happens. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully it was helpful. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. See you guys. All right, so ran a few more calls, did some follow-ups, fixed some stuff, and I didn't even get to all of it. We have so many calls, I am getting backed up, but we are good. It's Friday, we're good for the weekend, or we should be, hopefully. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Camel City Mill, you guys already know, over at HVAC Nights, we love our work socks by them. Now they have these short ones. I wear low style boots. If you guys want to pick up a pair, there's a discount code reliablehvacr 10 or HVAC Nights 10. Get yourself a discount, try them out. They made these shorter ones now, ankle socks, whatever you want to call them. I think these are going to be great for summer. Jake tried them, liked them. I tried them. I love them too. Other guys have tried them, and I've talked to some guys, and you know, they thought they were the best socks that they've ever gotten. So like with anything, I know the price. Some people are like, oh my God. You can use our discount codes. You can also buy more than one pair. Every other pair you get is like discounted. You get a bundle pack. And just think of it this way. It's like, you know, our boots are expensive. Our clothes is expensive. You know, we go through it like crazy. So why not take care of your feet? And let me just put it this way. You will not have nasty, damp, sweaty feet at the end of the day. Like Jake says, they use that Dan Marino wool. It is, I don't know, witchcraft. And like I said, go check them out. Go use the discount codes. I'll leave it in the description if you guys want to go or hop over to their website. And with that price, the other thing is, I believe, what was it, like a 10-year guarantee. If you rip them, mess them up, whatever, they'll send you a new pair. So for, you know, whatever the price is, $20, that's a 10-year sock. It's not a 1-year sock. You rip it out and you got to buy a new one every year. No, it's a 10-year guarantee. So I think you stretch your dollar there. Just wanted to give them a shout out. They got the black, they got the gray, they got the long socks, the ankle socks. I'm gonna go buy a bundle and make sure that I'm stocked up for summer. I like them that much. So just wanted to give a shout out and kind of let you guys know if you guys are in the market for some socks, check them out.